All right. Now, in other news, we actually just got word. There are rumors behind Floyd Mayweather looks to be making a comeback, which everyone, of course,
Oh, a Floyd Mayweather comeback. I'm excited.
right? And
Well,
so,
whoever is he going to be fighting?
well, now before I say who he's fighting, I will note it is not an official boxing match. It's going to be an exhibition. But Floyd Mayweather, the greatest boxer of all time in some people's minds, 50-0, never defeated, might
Absolute
be fighting Logan Paul for some reason.
What?
Logan Paul, the Owen, sorry, the
Seriously, what the fuck?
0-1. He's 0-1 in his professional record. He has one tie in his amateur record, and yet he has enough followers through Instagram, through YouTube, through Twitter, through TikTok, I'm sure, that he's gonna fight the greatest boxer of all time. Now he's also like Logan's like 200 pounds, and Mayweather is a lot lighter, right? He's gonna be in the low 50s. So
is it gonna be a open cat free weight, whatever you want fight?
He's gonna have 50 pounds on him. He'll have like 5-6 inches of reach on him, and he's gonna get embarrassed anyway. It's gonna be great.
Oh my god, he's gonna get humiliated. I mean, Connor got humiliated. Why would?
Well, Connor wasn't humiliated. No, Connor put up a fight. It wasn't a humiliation.
He did. But then after round 7, he started getting humiliated.
He was gotten dominated. He wasn't humiliated, though. That's, I think, the difference.
Yeah, I guess. You can't.
Logan Paul is going to get
humiliated.
Connor
has
Logan Paul.
no shame. Neither does Logan Paul, to be fair.
No, Logan Paul doesn't mind. And to be honest, like, if you're Logan Paul, like, why wouldn't you do this, right? You're going to make a ton of money.
Them, why wouldn't you?
And you have nothing to lose.
Guaranteed money for both. Guaranteed win for Mayweather. Does nothing to hurt his legacy.
Oh no! If he loses, it does. If he lost, no, of course.
Okay, sure. If he loses,
but he's gonna embarrass Logan. I'm actually excited. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to watch.
No question.
I want to see how many times Logan swings at air before he gasses out and gets punched in the face.
It's gonna be like the Harlem Globetrotters of boxing. He's just gonna make. He's going to be like up there winding his fist up. Ooh, and he's going with the jab. It's going to be ridiculous.
Except it'll be a 3'3" Harlem Globetrotter destroying a 7-foot taller guy.
Yeah, it's going to be really funny to watch. It's a no lose scenario for both of those fellas. And I don't know. I'm going to watch it. It's going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I? I will say, I think that there's an element of this where, okay, boxing is in a really weird place, I think, where they are doing a way worse job of attracting young fans than UFC.
Oh, easily.
So they're doing these dumb, like, Logan Paul, KSI, Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather.
Jake Paul has a fight against Nate Robinson, an NBA player.
Like, they're trying to really
attract. That's the co-main event to Mike Tyson.
That's ridiculous. They're trying to attract this younger crowd. But I don't think that this is really the way to do it because these are fans that will only tune in for, like, this fight. Let me tell you how they do it. I had this idea last night. Let me tell you exactly why I should be getting paid by boxing.
By boxing? By the sport. The sport itself will pay you.
The fight in Fortnite. Put a big screen in Fortnite.
On Twitch.
Join the lobby. Watch the fight.
No, I swear to Christ. No, forget Fortnite. Do it on Twitch. Do it on Twitch.
No, bro. No, Fortnite. You know the Travis Scott Fortnite?
Yeah.
There's an Anderson .Paak Fortnite concert happening now. If they do it in Fortnite, I swear to God, every human being under the age of 17 will watch that fight.
But again, the problem is that as you said, it attracts young fans to watch the fight. But that's the only fight they're going to watch. I don't see anybody watching. If they're just going to do
dumb bullshit marketing for kids, they might as well do it the right way.
No one's watching Logan Paul KSI and saying, wow, that was a quality boxing match. I want to get into boxing now. This is not happening.
Like I said, if you're going to do it, at least do it in a less stupid way.
Actually, even here's a good example of why that's even true. All three of us watched Maymac. How many of the three of us consistently watch boxing? I watch 2 boxing fights a year.
Yeah, I watch like 2 to
right?
3 a
I'll,
year.
I'll watch Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, right? I'll watch
Right.
Canelo
Like
if he's
the
fighting, if I get the
biggest,
chance. But I'm not a
the
boxing
biggest
fan.
fights.
But and yet Mayweather versus McGregor is way more legitimate than any one of Logan Paul's fights. And we're legitimate combat sports fans, and we were going into that, and we understood the striking, and so we understood the amazingness that is Floyd Mayweather, and we still didn't become boxing fans. So now you're gonna take these kids who don't care at all about combat sports in the first place.
It's a terrible idea.
Don't know who Floyd Mayweather is. Half of them are coming and showing up for Logan Paul. Like,
Right.
no one's going to be a boxing fan because of this.
It's a terrible idea.
It's not a terrible idea. It's going to make money. You do what you want.
Well,
It's going to make money. But I'm pretty sure their plan is like, we want to attract young fans for years to come.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's
the wrong
not
strategy.
going to work. It's not going to work.
Boxing in general, the big problem with boxing is that they're always short-sighted. Boxing is always make the biggest fight that we can today. Forget about next year. But the problem with is that because, and I guess the reason that you have that is because you have all these different promotions, and you have all these different people that are the promoters, and you have the TV deals, and you have all these really complicated situations, and so everyone's trying to maximize their own profit. And if you try to plan for the future, someone else can steal your thunder. In the UFC, they do a much better job of long-term planning because they have everyone under their banner, right? They really have a monopoly over the top sport. Yes, you have Bellator, but it's not really up to the level of the UFC. They have essentially monopoly over the top talent, and so they're able to go and build things up and they can sacrifice a guy. They don't need to be like, all right, well, this is my golden goose, let's protect him. They can sacrifice a guy because whoever beats him gets his glory, and the UFC has that guy too.
Yeah.
If you're Eddie Hearn and you have some of your big guys lose some big fights, like if you see Anthony Joshua losing fights, you're losing money because he's losing fights.
I think one of the big things that MMA has going for it as well, as opposed to boxing, is because it is still in its infancy relative to like every other major sport league with the UFC, like in the world. UFC has to have like a 5 to 10 to 20 year plan going forward. Like, I mean, unrelated to combat sports, but let's say like the NHL, they at this point don't need a 5-year plan other than hockey will happen and people will watch it no matter what. Boxing for a long time had that. People will tune in no matter what. It's boxing, it's huge, but you know, they've got a real dynamic competitor, and they're hurting, and it shows. So the UFC, being that they're in their infancy, they have that 5-10 year plan in the bag. Let's see what happens.
But they're also investing in their own future, though, and not only in terms of the fights, not only in terms of who they're booking against who and who they're building and whatever. If you look at where the UFC money is going, the UFC PI, right? They have one now. Of course, they have the Vegas one. They have one that's 2 or 3 times the size that's being built. It might be done by now in China. They have one that they're building in Mexico as well. They're planning a couple of other ones, I think, for Europe. So they're building these UFC PIs all over the place to get grassroots talent a place to train.
PI? What is that?
Performance Institute.
Oh, okay.
That's these massive gyms that are fully stocked. Yes, they have the gyms in terms of the weight room. They have all the equipment that you can possibly think of for training, but they also have all the recovery equipment that you can have. They have staff that works all of that, and it provides it for free to every single fighter on the roster. You have
MMA Training Central.
It's literally what it is. And when you think about it, if you go to the NHL, you're not paying for your own food. You're not paying for your physiotherapy. You're not paying for your cryotherapy. All these things are being provided for by the team, and that's what. And the reason they do that is because it allows their players to perform better. The UFC is saying we need to invest in grassroots talent in MMA. We need to make sure that all of our fighters have access. At the very least, they can choose to do what they want. But they know if they come to Vegas, or they go to Mexico, if they go to China, if they go to one of these PIs and live there, which they're going to have dorms there too. They're investing in the hotel. Then you'll have a place where you can consistently train at no expense to yourself and get the best possible training, and therefore get the best possible fights.
Which kind of feeds
forward.
Yeah, which kind of feeds into the argument of fighters not getting paid enough. It's like if you work for a big company and they provide you with a salary, but they also provide you with benefits, which if you don't take advantage of, like those benefits are there in lieu of pay. So now these fighters are going to be granted benefits such as free training, physiotherapy, dietitians, nutritional sciences, and stuff like that. Now it kind of builds the base for UFC sort of giving back to their fighters a little bit more.
A little bit. I mean, listen, I still don't. I mean, when you got boxers making tens of millions of dollars, I still can't agree.
But here's the difference, though. Yes, you have Canelo, who's making $35 million a fight, and just recently said.
I know at the lower levels of boxing, the pay is not nearly as high as the UFC.
Look, when
but
you had Mayweather,
sports, when you had
no, but Noah, yes, they're not making as much as the top guys. Of course, they're not. But it's not even that. When you had guys on the undercard of Mayweather and McGregor making 500 and 500, not 500,000 and 500,000, $500 to show and $500 to win on the undercard of Mayweather McGregor, where these guys making $100 million.
Who's going to
when
deny
you go
that?
to the UFC, at the very least, the bare minimum that they make in the UFC is 10 and 10. So the top guys aren't making nearly as much as they are in boxing, but the middle guys are actually outperforming boxing. Absolutely.
Sure. But relative to like the world of athletics, UFC fighters are earning, a grossly small proportion of the pie.
When you're talking
about
NHL,
they need a greater
NBA,
slice of the pie relative to everything. Ultimately.
That's the problem. So they have, and that's because of the union, right? So NHL has the NHL Players Association. Mm-hmm. They have the MLB Players Association. All these big major league sports have unions. And generally, the agreement is a 50-50 split in revenue sharing between the players and the owners. And so, and so that, of course, can happen. In the UFC, is a 16 to 18% revenue share. And that's what the UFC themselves have reported. And, of course, they would want to make this as high as possible because this was during a lawsuit that said that they were underpaying. So this is the max possible. The upper limit on how much they're paying is 18%. Whereas, and they should be making 30-40% easily, and I'd like to see that happen. They should essentially be doubling these guys' paid.